Hi, Majo John Madden. It's almost 4:30 in the morning on Friday, the 24th, I guess, of February. Me and my sleeping dog, Magic, he's not totally asleep, are in the Walmart parking lot on Ruben Torres in Brownsville, Texas. I woke up needing to use the bathroom here, the cup that I peed in the van, and usually go right back to sleep, but I was preoccupied. I don't know if I had a dream or why all these memories of my process 35 years ago of remembering my sex abuse, why all these memories are floating around in me tonight, right now. I don't know what got it started, but I realized, oh, this is big, because you're thinking about stuff you don't usually think about, and this is a story you haven't really told for a long time. I've got only one light source, one flashlight, so I have to fuss with this. Do it. Push the button and get 10 minutes worth onto tape, and maybe share it or not. I never remembered my sex abuse. It happened from 6 to 10. Crazy uncle, actually much older cousin who lived next door, came back from the Korean War. I don't know if he had been alcoholic before he went, but he was very seriously alcoholic, and lived with his very strange parents. My dad's sister, what an oddball she was, and her husband, very strange. In a family that I'm convinced, that Madden family, there was a long tradition of the males, older males, abusing the younger males. I think it was a curse, a second curse, not beyond alcohol in that family. My dad never did it, but it was there. So 6 to 10 in the woods behind our house, sometimes at knife point, along with telling me I was a bad seed, bad child, that I was responsible for it. Somehow my sexuality was making him do it. I did at some point become convinced that eventually I would be killed, and just gave up. And then all those memories went away completely. So much so that in my 25-year involvement with reevaluation counseling, I guess in the first 10 years, there was a big emphasis on healing sex abuse. There would be support groups and workshops and everything for dealing with childhood sex abuse. And I always thought that was totally irrelevant to me. I had no notion that it applied to me. So in my early 40s, perfect storm of life stresses caused it to get released. I moved from Chicago, where I had all my supports, my hometown, to Cincinnati, which was a town that did not support me at all. Very buttoned-down, conservative town, in a very buttoned-down, conservative company, the power company, as opposed to having been at AT&T, which was a pretty wide-open company that really supported the work I was doing and was very wonderful for me. I moved there to be near my son, who was in Louisville, and that didn't help. It helped our relationship. He thrived on me seeing him twice a week instead of once a month, but it didn't help me because it just heightened my grief that he was not in my home, and since age 2 for 4 years he was half-time in my home, but then since then not. Long distance, and all the ways I was not there for him, and he's haunted by that now and has totally thrown me out of his life over it. So it was a perfect storm, and then I got fired from that job at Cincinnati Gas in a really quite wrongful way, terrible way, and everything. My youthful energy was giving way, and so my sex abuse memories came back. And the way they started to come back was I got in a Jungian dream group and was recording my dreams in Cincinnati, where I was living. And I was involved in organization and systems development training at the Gestalt Institute of Cleveland, very fine therapy institute, which we were class 9. So for something like 9 years or 10 years, they had been offering a 54-day program in using Gestalt principles as a business consultant. Very high power. Five staff were from the therapy tradition, and 5 were business consultants. And we'd come for 9 days, 6 times over 18 months. And a spectacularly talented group of 36 people, 18 women, 18 men, a lot of black folks in there. And it was quite high power. But my life was halfway through. I got fired from the job at Cincinnati Gas. They supported me to go. They had paid the money for me to go. So I always, every time I went, I kind of forced caffeine, drank tons of caffeine, which I was doing in my, I don't know, yeah, I did. I was doing a lot of caffeine and had very, very powerful experiences, very few of which ever got integrated. I'd go back to Cincinnati and just crash, get flat. Because the thrill of all that community, when I had nothing like that in Cincinnati, I'd really get flattened when I go back to Cincinnati. And all that finally got me diagnosed as bipolar. Originally clinical depression, but that did not happen for another year. At the very last, the 9th session, off in California, usually they were in Cleveland. The first and the last were in, second and the last were in California. On the way there, on the plane, I was listening to I had a headset on, and I was listening to the audio of the dreams I had recorded the night before. And I had a dream of a maniacal dentist who was pursuing me with a drill. And I'd forgotten the dream. When I listened to it, I was like, whoa, shit, I don't remember that dream. And I'm on the plane listening to it, and on the tape, you can hear me falling back asleep. And in that moment where that happened on the tape, it happened to me on the plane also. I fell back asleep. I wanted so desperately not to remember any of this. And when I got off the plane, I didn't remember that incident at all until I got to the resort where we were having the retreat, saw my very, very close friend Lynn. We were in the pool catching up with each other. She said something about her brother who had a history of physical abuse, and I exploded in front of her and said, wait, no, I have to tell you, I think maybe I was sexually abused. The memory of the dreams had popped back right then. And we did some processing of that. And then it went away again entirely. A couple of days later, I was walking with one of my mentors there, a guy who was really important to me, and I gave him a long check-in about my life. Made no mention of it because it wasn't on the screen anymore. It was gone. We all did big presentations, each of the 36 at that last session. A woman named Pat, who was a dear friend of mine there, very sensitive, deep soul, made her last session about how during that 16 months, I guess we were in that program, she had done big work about her history of sex abuse. And my jaw was open, I staggered out, and it never went back in the box. The genie never, ever went back in the box after that. There was a huge party that night to celebrate the end, and a dance party, and I'm all about parties and all about dancing, and I adored that group. I didn't go. Or maybe I tried to go and couldn't. I was blown away. Blown away. And there's more. I think I'll probably stop this tape and maybe have a smoke. And probably do another tape because there's a lot more to say. That's right on top right now. Thank you.